Guess where we're at? I'm at Goffs. This is the old original schoolhouse. And I'm gonna show you some really cool stuff because I'm about to take you on Adventure Wonderland. So you know what I'm gonna say, huh? Smash that like button, boy. No, so come on, let's go. Wow, look at this monker. Restoration was made possible by the generous contributions from John M. Fickworth and through the leadership and expertise of Charlie and Kathy Connell and many dedicated volunteers. I want to thank these guys because you don't see a lot of these working. There's only a handful of them across the United States that are actually been rehabbed to where they actually work. This is a 2-stamp mill. Most of the time they're in batteries of 5. It would crush the quartz or whatever material they throw in there, gold ore. It would stay in there until it's small enough to pass through this screen. See that? And then in the old days, this would be a copper sheet. Right now, they just have a sluice box here. And they would take mercury and they would rub it on the copper plate. Now, mercury will stick to copper. When the gold gets freshly crushed out of this, it sticks or amalgamates with, and then after about a week, the miners would shut down all the stamp mills and they'd go through with squeegees and they would clean up all the amalgam. And then they'd take that amalgam and they would put it in a retort. A retort, its job is to not only burn the mercury off away from the what's called sponge gold, but it'll actually capture the mercury fumes, which are extremely deadly. As it captures it, it runs it through like a still. It condenses it back down into mercury and they'd use it again. Tailings that come off the end here, this goes down into a trough and then from there it would go to a pipe and that pipe would feed to a shaker table. And then that way they could liberate any gold that might have got lost on this table. Trust me, the old timers were really good about getting all the gold out of the rock. But they didn't get it all, did they? No, they didn't. That's my job, to find out what they missed. Look at this, it even has the feeding mechanism on the back. See that? There's the tensioner and there's the bowl wheel. There's a jaw crusher. That's a 4x6 right there, see that? Big old monker. And you can see where they've got this one hooked up to an electric motor too. I wonder if I can spin. Oh yes, look at that. These are the old chains. Kids would grab onto them. Ooh, swing around like that. Something like that, I don't know. They just fill this thing up with water to keep the cylinder head cool. That was it. No radiator at all. That's a new coil there. But these are hit and miss. So the reason why they call them hit and miss engines is because they had a governor on the side, and once they reached a certain RPM, it would stop firing. So it'd go chunk-a-chunk, and then it'd stop. And then when the RPMs dropped below whatever it is they set the limiter to, then it would fire back up. Chonka. That way they could save fuel. They didn't need it to run constant all the time. Of course, you know I'm gonna find their gold. Nothing in that one. What is that? I got a flathead 4 and a flathead 4. Well, if any of you guys out there know what this is, leave me a comment down below. 2 transmissions, 2 flathead 4s, 2 radiators. I'll take an iced tea with lemon, please. Dreaming of gold nuggets. Look at that, that's a ball mill. Oh, those are heavy balls. Great balls of fire. And it's funny because as the balls wear, they get smaller and smaller and smaller. They just keep throwing new balls in. Now, this is what's called a batch mill. There's 2 types of ball mills. There's a batch mill and then there's a process mill. Batch mills, you can only put so much in. You put the lid on, you crank, then you stop, turn this thing upside down. You have a screen to catch all the balls. You open this gate and then all the ore and the balls fall out. That's a batch mill. Regular production mill, the ore is fed in through the side here. It gets crushed out till it's a slurry and then it goes out the backside. There's usually a screen to catch the larger material and then that gets ran back through again. Wouldn't you love to have one of these old trucks? I'd love to rehab one of these old trucks and just drive it around out to the mine. And you can see a lot of times these fenders would flop around, so you can see where somebody did a repair right there to fix it, because usually there's a little crack that'll form on these fenders. Ooh, that's old. Look at that. Yeah, that's homemade. Look at this. I don't know why, but somebody always takes the cylinders off. This is rare because it's the actual motor and winch combined into one unit. So the operator would stand on the side here. Here's your clutch right here, and here's your brake. Because remember I told you these they have clutches in them. This one's kind of rusted, but you got the brake, which operates the brake band, and then this lever operates this clutch. It would slide it in and out. That way the motor could keep running and running. This is one single unit. And this thing weighs a ton. Can you imagine? Even just the base that this whole thing is mounted on. It's got to weigh a couple tons easy. Can you imagine trying to get this up to the mines? Now this is about the size of our drift mine right here. I'll give you a little clue. We're not very far from our drift mine. Yeah, so maybe some of you guys will figure it out. There's the shaft sinking bucket right there. Ours is just a hair smaller. You see the trunnions on the side? That's so it'll dump. And then you got the bail up on top like what we've got. And they usually put a ring on the bottom. We don't have a ring on the bottom of ours. The ring is so that they can haul down lumber and equipment. They can just chain it up to the bottom of it and lower it down. And of course this is a head frame. You guys should know what a head frame is by now. There's the shiv wheel. And in here is the hoisting works. This is where my wife would work in our mine. And here's the small winch. You got the clutch in the back like on ours. We have the clutch, and then of course you can change directions, and then they got a small little gas motor here to operate it. This one's got a little bit bigger cable. That's what I need on ours. It's pretty simple. Here's your clutch. That's your brake for your brake band right there. With this clutch in the middle is neutral. It's similar to the one that we have. See that? And so if I go one direction, it has one direction speed. Then if I go the other direction, it has a different direction. So he can go up or down. And then you have the brake here so that you can lock it in position while this thing is in neutral. But that's very similar to the one that we have in our drift mine. I like this one. I'd love to have something like this because this is an original. My wife works in a building just like this. It's a little bit bigger, but same principle. So maybe you guys have figured out where my drift mine is, huh? Wow, look at the size of those cams for a stamp mill. Those things are huge. More buckets of ore everywhere. You won't miss this one, will you? So the trunnions would come up here, and they would lock into here, boom, just like on our mine. And then they could dump, go back up. And there's supposed to be a plate here so it rides over the top of this and goes back down the shaft. You can see this is a small head frame that it looks like they're eventually gonna put back together, I'm not sure. And then here's where the shiv wheel will go right here. And then it bolts together at the top right here. Real common design. And then here's your clutch, like I was telling you about. And it's air powered because everything in the mines is air powered. It's kind of like a Lovejoy connector here for the clutches right here. See this? It's kind of stuck, but you can see where these two connect like a Lovejoy. It would lock and then that would power it. Then you slide it out on the shaft and it would disconnect. And then to keep that bucket from rolling away, you have a brake here for these brake bands. And then you got this little tiny head frame here. This is a tiny head frame. Look at this. Oh, they got a baby shaft too. So you got this itty bitty shaft sinking bucket here. And then you got the rails here. You see these homemade rails for it to come up and then dump onto that ore car up there. So they could take it to either the mill or the waste rock pile. They rebuilt a forge. That is fantastic. Blacksmith forge. You got all the tools. And then they got there's the air pump right there. Crank that munker up. Of course, you got to have an anvil. There's the reason why I'm laughing. Stop that. No, my wife's not telling me a joke. And no, my zipper's not down. The reason why I'm laughing is, do you know what that thing is, huh? And do you know why there's a fence around it? Now, anybody who's been out in the desert long enough knows exactly what that thing is and why they have a fence around it. And I'll tell you right now, if you've ever been bitten by one of these things, you'll never forget. Let's see how many people out there are smart fellers again and not fart smellers. What is this thing? Leave me a comment down below if you know what it is. I'll give you a couple seconds. Time's up. This is what the old gas pumps used to look like. I know it looks crazy, but this is how they used to fill up their cars with gas back in the day. I'm gonna show you how they work. Here's the nozzle on the end. And what they do is, see this? This is the pump. You had to do it by hand. Pump, pump. And as you're pumping it, you're pumping the fuel up out of the tank underground, and it's filling this glass cylinder up. And then that way you can see how much gas you're getting. When you get the amount of gas that you want, then you turn this valve right here and it allows it to flow out. It's pressurized and it'll actually push the fuel out. That's how these old gas pumps used to work. Green Acres is the place for me. Hey, what are they doing? PG. This is incredible. There's like a bunch of frogs out here, and it even says Frog Lane. I wonder why all these frogs are out here. That is the biggest barrel cactus I have ever seen. Look at this thing. Dun dun. I've had a lot of people tell me I've lost my marbles, but you know what? I found them. Beady. Good luck, Buck. You know, I'm eventually gonna have to get one. You know that, right? Wouldn't that look cool, having it in our drift mine? And then this one right here is for, you know, if you want to load up drill steel or whatever. So I'm gonna get one of these down in my mine. Would you like to see that? Be pushing one of those around. How about an MCO 12B too? Look at all the gnomes. Why are all these gnomes out here? I don't have a clue. Let's see how many people out there are smart fellers and not fart smellers, okay? This is a bowl wheel, okay? It's very common on these things. Leave me a comment down below before I tell you, why are these always made out of wood? How come they didn't make them out of cast metal? Because you know they make cast iron stuff back in the day for everything, and this would be nothing. So tell me why these are made out of wood. There's a specific reason. And here's some more of their ore. Oh, I think I'm taking that one. Look at this cool stove. And it even says, to go. Never seen one like that. An old cheese grater. For some of you new kids out there, let me explain something. Back in the old days, they didn't have computers and electricity and all that fancy stuff. They had to do everything by hand. And so back in the day, it was all either hand powered or foot powered or horse powered. Now, you see that back there? Do you know what that is? I showed you what that is in another video. It's used for assaying, but it has a very specific name. And I want to know if you know what it's called. Going down. Ding, ding. I got to get one of these in my mind. I get tired of going up and down the man way. These are really rare. This is a 2-stamp mill. You know how a stamp mill works. It's designed to crush ore. Usually, these are the locks that would hold the screen in place. There's supposed to be a screen right here. So this thing goes chunk, 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 chunk. The finer material flows out through the screen, and if it doesn't get small enough, it stays in there and gets crushed to a pulp. And look, you can see where they've got this one set up. See that? They put that on the end of this gyro crusher, and they actually have ore that they put into this ore bin. Feeds in here, goes around, crushes it. Finer material runs out there. It looks like a 3x4. They use these a lot in assay labs. Little tiny 3x4, I got one just like it. Here's their bucket of ore, and they put it in there and ka-chunk, 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 ka-chunk. You guys are into hard rock mining, you need yourself a jaw crusher. There is so much stuff out here, I could spend a week out here and not see it all. Oh, it's a honey pot. And look, you put the quarter in, and it opens up. Ah!
Train.
Shh, I hear a train. This is perfect. Oh, look at that. Oh, I gotta get one of these in my drip mine. Look at this little guy. Little tiny shaft sinking bucket. Little tiny one. There's a good sized one right there. Look at that. That's the kind I'm used to seeing right there. Oh, it still has the tag on it too. This is the kind of skip that you see in most of your modern production mines right here. This has got an automatic dumper that's referred to as a Kimberly. Now there's supposed to be wheels right here. You can see where a cotter pin went in there. As this goes up, there's another set of track right here. It rides in and it'll actually dump this thing forward. And then it'll go back down and you can see the little skids right here. And then it's got the safety locks up on the top. You see that? Right up there. Those are the safety locks in case the cable breaks. It locks into the guides on the sides. Something Motel Gold Mine. I don't know what that says. All right, now this is a full-size skip car. This is more like what I'm used to seeing in the larger mines. I want you to take a look at the back set of wheels here. See how you have a second type of wheel sticking out the outer edge? This is different than what you have on the front wheel. The reason why you have that is because as this skip car is going up the incline coming out of the mine and up onto the head frame, you'll see 2 sets of tracks when you get to the top of the head frame. The front set of wheels, that track curves down. The second set of tracks keep going up, sometimes at a steeper grade. So the front end of this skip car will dip down. This section of the wheel will ride on that second set of rail and it'll keep going up. So the cart will do this, it'll tip. And then when they're done, because it has a steeper grade, they release the brake. Because of that steep grade, it wants to pull the nose back up and then back down in the mine it goes. Oh, yeah. If you've been out to the mines like I have, you see these, except not in this good a condition, these old beds. When these are brand new, these are extremely comfortable, very soft. But this is all you needed back in the day. Put your boots underneath there and stretch out. The miners were about my size back in the day. This is a perfect size bed. What the heck? What does it say? To sap if you do t. What does that mean? Navy should say Army. Let me in. How do you get in? I gotta go. Ah, Billy. Look at that. Ooh, I can fix this up real good. Look at this. This is where you put your rifle at. You see that? An old stove. and there was a road or trail that went through here. It was established in 1857. The military put it in here. These used to be Indian trails that come running through here, and the military said, hey, we're gonna use this as a way to get out to California. So they put this here, and they'd have mail here for pickup and delivery, and also for settlers to come out here. And of course, if people were having issues, they could come here for protection. Memorial was dedicated by the Billy Holcomb chapter of the Ancient and Honorable Order of the Clampus Vitus and the Needles Resource Area of the Bureau of Land Management in 1990. Look at all these peck heads everywhere. Look at that, they're all over the place. Look at that, that's a dog. You see that? Are you having fun so far? I am. I think you are too. I love all this old history. I fit right in. I think I was born at the wrong time. What do you think? So anyway, we're gonna take you around, show you some more stuff. But before I do, you better smash that like button. Smash it hard, harder than that. And if you're not subscribed, please subscribe because it helps the channel. All right, enough jaw jacking. Let's go find some more stuff to get into. Because I know there's more stuff here to see. So you know what I want to say? Oh, you better. So come on.
My name is Jeff.
No, let's go.
Strange and unexplained events